The farmhouse has come a long way from its humble beginnings. Once purely functional and rooted in rural life, today's modern farmhouse is a carefully curated blend of old-world charm and contemporary flair. This video explores how steel and shiplap, two contrasting materials, are redefining this beloved style with bold new ideas. At the heart of the modern farmhouse lies a deep respect for simplicity and comfort. However, innovation has elevated this style beyond its rustic roots. By pairing traditional elements like shiplap with industrial components such as steel, designers are creating spaces that are both nostalgic and daringly fresh. Steel represents strength, modernity, and sleek sophistication, while shiplap offers warmth, texture, and a timeless rural feel. When used together, they form a dynamic dialogue between past and present, one that's visually striking and emotionally resonant. Steel roofing and accent panels bring a contemporary punch to exteriors clad in soft, whitewashed shiplap. The contrast draws attention and creates curb appeal that feels both bold and welcoming, a farmhouse that feels just as much at home in the countryside as in a modern suburb. Entryways outfitted with black steel-framed glass doors provide a sleek counterpoint to a shiplap-covered porch. This mix of materials immediately signals that this is no ordinary farmhouse. It's a stylish, forward-thinking take on rural design. Inside, shiplap often takes center stage. Whether used on walls, ceilings, or fireplace surrounds, it brings a tactile element that evokes simplicity and craftsmanship. It sets a calm, cozy tone, an ideal backdrop for bolder accents like steel beams or hardware. Open floor plans are synonymous with modern farmhouses. Exposed steel beams can subtly define areas within a great room without sacrificing openness. This structural honesty feels raw and modern, while the shiplap retains a sense of homey continuity. A kitchen featuring steel shelving, range hoods, and cabinet pulls pops against white shiplap walls and warm wooden countertops. This blend of industrial precision and farmhouse familiarity creates a kitchen that's both high-performing and full of personality. Pendant lights in blackened steel or brushed nickel hanging from shiplap ceilings create a compelling contrast. These fixtures can range from minimalist to ornate, but the key is how they harmonize with the textures around them, offering both illumination and design continuity. Concrete floors lend an industrial coolness to a space, while wide plank wood adds warmth. When shiplap walls and steel fixtures are part of the equation, the flooring acts as a grounding element that ties everything together. Steel-framed windows deliver a crisp, contemporary look that pairs beautifully with shiplap interiors. These bold frames invite in natural light while creating visual structure and symmetry, a sleek update to classic farmhouse proportions. A modern farmhouse bedroom can balance tranquility and drama with shiplap headboard walls, steel bedside sconces, and minimalist decor. The materials contrast, yet their combination fosters a restful, grounded atmosphere. In bathrooms, steel-framed mirrors, faucets, and shelving provide a sleek counterpoint to shiplap wainscoting or accent walls. The result? A spa-like space that's refined yet rooted in the approachable charm of farmhouse living. A steel and wood staircase becomes a striking architectural feature in a modern farmhouse. With shiplap walls flanking the structure, the interplay of clean lines and rustic textures elevates everyday movement into a design experience. Imagine a black steel fireplace surround set against horizontal white shiplap. The juxtaposition creates a strong focal point in any living area, bringing together the coziness of tradition and the clarity of modern design. Modern farmhouses benefit from a minimalist approach that lets the raw beauty of steel and shiplap shine. Clean lines, neutral colors, and selective accents ensure that each material plays its part without overwhelming the senses. From custom steel vent hoods to handcrafted stair railings, small details add major impact. These pieces act as functional art, introducing industrial flair without sacrificing the farmhouse's approachable nature. While white is classic, painted shiplap in charcoal, navy, or sage can enhance the contrast with steel elements. These colors bring mood and depth to a room, giving you a modern farmhouse that's both bold and personalized. Extend the aesthetic outside with steel pergolas over shiplap-sided patios, or steel outdoor furniture against a rustic barn-style wall. This approach seamlessly connects indoor and outdoor spaces with stylistic consistency. Steel is recyclable and shiplap, especially when reclaimed, can be sustainably sourced. This pairing supports eco-conscious design choices without compromising on aesthetics, making the modern farmhouse not just beautiful, but responsible. Black steel elements act as punctuation marks in a sea of natural tones and textures. Whether in fixtures, railings, or window frames, they add depth and drama to shiplap's softness, grounding the design in visual confidence. In kitchens or bathrooms, steel brackets holding up rustic wooden shelves against a shiplap wall add a modern twist to open storage. It's both decorative and functional, embodying the modern farmhouse's duality. Swap traditional barn wood for shiplap panels framed in steel. These sliding doors maintain farmhouse charm but feel sleeker and more contemporary, effortlessly merging old and new in one bold statement piece. Mixing steel-framed furniture with soft textiles, shiplap backdrops, and natural woods creates a layered, inviting look. It's comfortable enough for everyday life, yet stylish enough to feel custom-crafted. Vaulted ceilings clad in shiplap and supported by exposed steel trusses draw the eye upward, emphasizing volume and openness. This architectural combo gives rooms a sense of grandeur without excess. Steel and shiplap also bridge eras, allowing for the incorporation of vintage pieces with modern design. An old farmhouse table beneath a steel light fixture, or antique decor against a shiplap wall, highlights the harmony of contrasts. durability and Shiplap's wipeable surfaces make them great for active households. These materials can take the hits of everyday life while still looking fresh and fashionable, perfect for the modern family farmhouse. Modern farmhouse design thrives on texture. Shiplap's ridges, steel's smoothness, wood's grain, all contribute to a rich sensory environment. Thoughtful layering ensures your home feels multidimensional, not one note. The interplay between natural light through steel-framed windows and warm-toned shiplap interiors creates a calming ambience. Supplement this with layered lighting, pendants, sconces, and recessed lights for versatile, mood-setting control. When steel meets shiplap, a bold new farmhouse emerges, one that honors tradition while embracing innovation. This unexpected pairing allows homeowners to create spaces that are at once cozy and commanding, nostalgic and new. In the world of home design, few styles feel as fresh and timeless as this.